Right, today I'm going to make an album, mini album from recycled materials, and I'd like to thank Jenny Belly, and I'll put a link for her YouTube channel for this idea of recycling old food packaging. And I've got this, it's a fairly small box which will more or less fit these Christmas cards that we've got, and I've chosen the square ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this box down to about 6 inches once I've taken it apart. You can use these flaps to reinforce the cover. This will form the cover of the book. Right, now it comes apart there. Right, so what I want to do is measure up from will be, I'll measure up to 6 inches and then put, well actually yes, I think that would probably do. If I cut it off to there, just cut those flaps off and use this as the flap, that will take us up to 6 inches, which is there. Right, so I'll just cut these flaps off. And if I cut so I measure that to 6 inches. 6 inches, just draw that across there. Know how far to cut. That should do it then. Score. Nice square book then. I'm using Scotch quick dry adhesive, which does what it says on the tin, and it's a good strong wet glue. It's my favourite wet glue. It's good for boxes or anything where you want extra hold. Just takes a minute or two to take. Folding in the tabs rather than cutting them off reinforces the what will be the cover of the book. cover of the book. And I think there really aren't enough in there, but it doesn't really matter because I can make them fairly loose, because then there'll be room for additions, things that I can stick on. Now these are too long, these cards, now I need to measure. Yes, that's come out to 5.5. It's 5.5. Yeah, and that's by 6. So that all the pages got to be 5.5 by 6. Now, these are not all the same size, but that doesn't matter as long as they're not too large. I can cut those larger ones down, and some of the smaller ones I can either bind separately or I can put inside like that, and then maybe do a border all the way around, and possibly cut holes and you can see through. We'll see how we go anyway, so I'll take the small ones out. Down now. Slightly smaller, that's fine. It's just the width this way that's really critical. As long as they're not too big this way, it doesn't really matter. They could even be a bit smaller, I think, once to allow room for the binding. I think I'm going to take those down to 5.25 actually. I think to be on the safe side. It doesn't matter if the binding projects beyond the pages. Yeah, that's better. I think that's a lot better. Right, now cut all the large ones down so that they are now 6 inches by 5.25, and the medium-sized ones, I've got several here. Yeah, those are also 5.25 this way, and they're 5.5 tall, and then some odd ones there. Now if I put those inside the large ones, I get a 1/4 inch border top and bottom, so I'm going to trim those down by 1/4 inch. Just muddle those up, those are the big ones. So these are the medium ones, and I don't know what those are smaller. So I'm going to cut these down so that they measure 5 inches instead of 5 1/4. Then I'll have a border all the way around. I'll put them inside the large ones. I'll just do one. See what I mean. Right, so if I put that one inside the large one, I've got this border around, so then if I put that there and around a minute. Now if I make a signature out of those 2 cards, when this is either covered with paper or painted, I can put a border around there which will show around this card, and then I can put small ones in the middle and do the same. So I think that'll make it more interesting. So I shall go on trimming those, those are the large ones, the medium ones down, so that they're 5 inches instead of 5 1/4. Okay, with these recycled cards I've made 5 signatures, which are 6 inches tall and 5 1/4 inches wide, and inside they've got smaller cards, and they'll be staggered so that you get a border going around. And what they look like in the binder so far is like that, and they look quite loose at the moment, but they will be bound, each one will be stitched and bound through into the back here, and I've left enough room so I can add things onto the pages so it won't be so tight then. I mean, it closes a lot at the moment, but I don't want it splaying out like this. You see so many albums that don't close properly because they haven't allowed enough space in the binding, but I think that'll work. It makes quite a nice little book, I think. So the next step is to get some strong linen thread and measure up where I want to make the holes, to do some stitching there, and then I'll line that up and make the holes through there, and we may do something decorative with the binding on the back.